Hi, it's Martha of Just Martha Designs, and today was a really bad day. I had my first, had my first dystonic storm since my diagnosis. I am still at the point of, and I know that there are several people who actually follow my channel because of my dystonia diagnosis. So I wanted to share a little bit. I do apologize for the lighting. Trying to actually get this recorded and uploaded before I lay down again. I had an episode at work this morning that started with my asthma being triggered. The stress of that went ahead and put me kind of over the edge. I was already at the point where I knew I was fighting back, and some of you who have dystonia, I don't know if maybe you feel the same way, that when you feel like you know that you're going to have some kind of dystonia episode, that maybe you feel that cramp, and you know that just a certain way, your clothing, your sometimes it was in my foot, that if my shoe hit a certain way, touched a certain place, that it would automatically just trigger the muscles contracting suddenly. So I knew I was already at that point. Had a really rough night last night because of same issues, just a lot of cramping and the muscles contracting in my feet and in my legs and even in my arms. So I knew that it was going to be rough. Knew that ahead of time, knew that going into work this morning, and then having that happen and it trigger a full-blown dystonia storm. And I'm still struggling with my to talk. Not as bad as I was this morning. They actually thought I was having a stroke. So I'm still feeling a little, I'm exhausted from fighting the myoclonus, the jerks, and from dealing with the constant spasms. At one point in time, I think I was being twisted like you would just take and wrench a washcloth, where my legs were twisting one way and my torso another and my neck another way. So it's the first time that my son had actually seen me in that state, and I really had tried to hide that. Can't hide that anymore. Still not feeling well. Still dealing with the issues. Very tired. It's exhausting when you go through that because of the constant contractions of the muscles. You're using muscles that you didn't know you had. Still have cramping and So I can tell that that event they gave me this morning has long since worn off. So I'm still feeling as though I could at any moment go into another storm. I kind of get why they call it a storm and not so much just an attack. Because there's so much going on. The nurse at the hospital, she made a comment. She said, "I'm sure that drives you crazy when you really have no control over your limbs." And she said, "But it probably feels better to just let it do what it's going to do." And it's true. So whenever things wanted to twist or draw up, it's easier to let it do what it's going to do. It's going to hurt more fighting against it. And it hurts a lot more when you kind of, once it's over, just because it feels like you've been beat up. So I had planned to see my neurologist in June to change my meds because I was already having breakthrough symptoms on my meds I take now. So now I gotta call my doctor tomorrow and get an appointment to be seen a lot sooner, and hopefully tomorrow. Because as the doctor told me at the ER, he said, "You can't afford to wait till June. It's not going to happen. We're going to have to do something now, a little more treatment, and get things working, because now my 60% is kind of gone." So anyways, but just an update, like I said, and I'm gonna get off here and lay down and hopefully get some rest. Bye. Have a blessed night.